As the ship sped through the dark depths of space, a wave of tension and curiosity grew among the crew. The journey to the unknown planet was perhaps the greatest adventure of their lives. Everyone was silent, lost in thoughts about the challenges and mysteries they would encounter. Adley sat at the helm, monitoring the ship's speed and course information. His thoughts were constantly occupied with Zykller's words. If this substance truly posed a galactic threat, they had to find a way to either control or eliminate it. "Is everyone ready?" Adley asked, turning to the main lounge where the crew was gathered. "We know very little about this planet, but we need to be cautious as soon as we arrive." Eloan, adjusting her devices, turned to Adley. "I'm ready," she said firmly. "We'll do everything we can to better understand this substance." Draven joined in. "If there's indeed technology on this planet that can control the substance, we need to find and use it," he said. "But we should be careful. Such legends are often exaggerated." Just then, the ship's internal communication system crackled with static. "Adley, this is the engine room," said a crew member. "We've detected a fluctuation in energy levels. The engines are running at full capacity, but the substance might be affecting our power systems." Adley took a deep breath and opened the communication channel. "Continue monitoring the engines," he said. "Report any anomalies immediately." After a while, the ship's external sensors indicated that they had entered the orbit of the unknown planet. Adley instructed the crew to prepare for descent by slowing the ship. "Okay, we're about to land," he said. "Everyone be ready. We don't know what we'll encounter on this planet." As the ship entered the planet's atmosphere, they were shaken by intense turbulence. Eloan gripped the control panel tightly and said, "The atmosphere is quite dense, but I'm searching for a suitable landing area." Draven examined the sensors and identified a flat area at the base of a nearby mountain. "We can land there," he said, pointing to the screen. "It looks like an open space." Adley maneuvered the ship toward the area Draven indicated and began the landing procedure. The ship gradually descended and finally touched down gently on the planet's surface. The crew exhaled deeply, relieved to have completed the landing successfully. "All right, we've arrived," Adley said, unfastening his seatbelt. "Prepare to disembark and explore the surroundings." Eloan and Draven gathered the necessary equipment and headed toward the ship's exit. As the door opened, they were met with a breathtaking sight. The planet's surface was covered with strange and exotic vegetation, illuminated by a faint blue light. "This place is so strange," Eloan said, looking around carefully. "The plants and atmosphere are unlike anything we've seen. Maybe this substance is a natural part of this planet." Adley pulled out a device to scan the environment and started collecting samples from the surface. "We need to be cautious," he said. "We have no idea what dangers we might face on this planet." At that moment, a strange sound came from the distance. The crew focused on the direction of the noise. Draven scanned the area and detected a large structure several kilometers away. "We need to check that structure," Draven said, looking at Eloan and Adley. "The technology we're looking for might be there." Eloan nodded in agreement. "Yes, if there's a way to control the substance, we might find it at that structure," she said. "But let's be cautious. We could encounter the planet's inhabitants or other dangers." Adley turned to his crew with a serious expression. "All right, let's move out," he said. "We'll stick together and never separate. Everyone stay alert and keep your eyes open." After locking the ship, the crew began walking toward the structure. With every step, they were both fascinated and anxious about the planet's exotic nature. During their walk, Eloan noticed a strange substance glowing on one of the plants. This substance is here too," she said, showing it to Adley. "It might be a natural part of this planet." Draven analyzed the energy of the substance and nodded in astonishment. "Yes, it's the same substance," he said. "But it seems more concentrated here. It could be affecting everything around it." As they approached the structure, they were further impressed by its grandeur and magnificence. The high walls and massive doors suggested that it had once housed a great civilization. Adley approached the door and examined it carefully, attempting to open it with a hand gesture. However, the door didn't budge. Draven closely examined it and said, "This door has some sort of energy lock. If we can decipher this energy, we might be able to get inside." Aloan took out her device and began analyzing the energy lock on the door. "This lock uses an energy similar to the substance," she said. "If we can reverse this energy, we might be able to open the door." Adley looked around anxiously. "Then we need to do it immediately," he said. "Our time is running out, and we don't know what we'll face on this planet." As Aloan programmed her device to reverse the energy, the others kept an eye on their surroundings. After a few minutes of intense work, Aloan took a deep breath and said, "All right, we should try now." Adley nodded and signaled to Aloan. She activated the device, and suddenly, the energy lock on the door began to dissolve. The door creaked open slowly, and the crew stepped inside. The interior was even more mesmerizing than the outside. A vast hall with high ceilings and walls covered in strange symbols indicated that a sophisticated civilization once lived here. In the center of the hall, a large energy sphere captured their attention. Draven tried to determine the source of the energy. "This energy sphere could be a device used to control the substance," he said excitedly. "If we can operate this device, we might be able to stabilize the substance." Aloan approached the device and began examining it. "But we don't know how it works," she said worriedly. "If we make a mistake, we could destroy everything." Adley walked toward the device with determination. "We have no other option," he said resolutely. "We need to activate this device. If this substance is a threat to the galaxy, it's our responsibility to stop it." Adley and the crew paused for a moment, gazing into the dark corridor where the figure had vanished. Many questions swirled in their minds. If the locals' claims were true, the matter was more than just a threat. It was a force that could impact the balance of the universe. Aloan analyzed the data in her hands while Draven examined the symbols on the massive columns around them. "These symbols, they seem to be telling a story," Draven said, examining another column closely. "It might be a historical account. Perhaps it provides information about the origin of this matter." Aloan nodded and approached Draven. "If we can decipher these symbols, we might learn how to control this matter," she said. "But we must be cautious. Such information is often filled with symbolism and can be misinterpreted." Adley joined Draven and Aloan in examining the symbols. "What's interesting," he said, "is that these symbols bear similarities to certain galactic languages. This implies that this matter and this structure may be much older and more significant than we thought." At that moment, a sound came from the dark corridor where the figure had disappeared. This time, a pair of glowing eyes emerged from the darkness. The figure silently walked out of the corridor towards them. As Aloan cautiously stepped back, Draven readied an energy weapon in defense. "Wait," the figure said in a calm, deep voice. "I mean no harm. I am here to help." Adley approached the figure, scrutinizing him carefully. "Explain who you are and how you can assist us," he said. The figure lowered his hood, revealing himself to the crew. With a translucent skin, he appeared both wise and weary. "My name is Thaler," he said. "I am one of the guardians of this planet. I know why you are here, and I want to help." Aloan looked at Thaler and said, "If you truly want to help, explain what this matter is and how it can be controlled. We came here not only to seek knowledge, but also to protect our galaxy." Thaler smiled faintly and nodded. "The matter was once an energy source emanating from the heart of this planet," he explained. "But over time, this energy developed its own consciousness and transformed into a life form. Living in harmony with it is more important than controlling it." Draven listened intently to Thaler's words. "So, how can we achieve this harmony?" he asked. "What do we need to do?" Thaler surveyed the crew carefully and then began walking deeper into the corridor. "Follow me," he said. "I will take you to the source of this matter. There, you will learn how to communicate with it and achieve harmony." Adley hesitated for a moment before deciding to follow Thaler. "All right, lead the way," he said. "But if we sense any danger, we will retreat immediately." As the crew followed Thaler through the dark corridor, the atmosphere within the structure grew denser. With every step, the symbols on the walls glowed more intensely, and a faint hum resonated around them. Eloan tried to measure the frequency of the hum with her device, while Draven kept a vigilant watch on their surroundings. After a while, the corridor widened into a large chamber. In the center of the room, a floating energy sphere hovered. Within the sphere, an energy similar to the matter pulsated. Thaler approached the sphere and extended his hand toward the energy. "This is the essence of the matter," Thaler said, reaching out to the energy. "The way to communicate with it and achieve harmony is to establish a connection with it." Adley, trying to understand Thaler's words, asked, "How can we establish this connection? We need to know how to do this." Thaler looked at Adley with a slight smile. "The matter communicates through thoughts and emotions," he explained. "Be open to it and show your true intentions. If it opens up to you, you may find a way to achieve harmony." Eloan pondered Thaler's words. "So, this is a form of mind reading or telepathy?" she asked. "Such communication could be quite risky." Thaler nodded. "Yes, it is a form of mind reading," he said. "But the matter perceives not only thoughts but also emotions. Approach it with honesty and respect. This is the only way to communicate with it." Adley took a deep breath and approached the energy sphere. After a moment of hesitation, he slowly extended his hand toward the energy. When the sphere touched Adley's hand, he felt a slight shiver, and then a voice echoed in his mind. "Who are you?" the voice asked. "Why are you here?" Adley, momentarily startled, steadied himself and replied mentally, "I am Adley. We came here to protect our galaxy. We are afraid of you and your power, but perhaps we can work together." The energy calmed momentarily before responding again. "If you wish to work together, you must first understand me," it said. "I am not a threat, just an existence. But if you try to harm me, I will defend myself." Adley and the crew were gathered around the energy sphere under Thaler's guidance. While trying to uncover the powers and secrets of the substance, they were also contemplating the potential impact of this newfound knowledge on the galaxies. This unknown energy source had the potential to disrupt the balance of the galaxies, and Adley knew they needed to harness this power responsibly. "Thaler," Adley said, keeping his eyes on the energy sphere, "if we can manage to control this substance, could we use its power to protect our galaxy?" Thaler considered Adley's question and then slowly nodded. "Yes, that is possible," he said. "But remember, wielding this power comes with great responsibility. A single misstep could endanger not only you, but the entire galaxy." Draven appeared somewhat unsettled by Thaler's warning. "Tell us what we need to do," he said, his voice growing more insistent. "We've come this far, and if this substance is our chance to protect the galaxy, we are ready to do whatever it takes." Thaler nodded appreciatively at Draven's determination. "Certainly," he said. "But first, you need to fully understand the nature of this substance. You must be in harmony with it and comprehend its power. It's not just about the strength, but also about balance and peace." Eloan, using her device to circle the energy sphere, carefully examined the data coming from it. "Thaler, the energy waves I'm seeing indicate that we need to enter a type of resonance to control this substance," she said. "We don't know how to create this resonance. Can you help us with this?" Thaler turned to Eloan and nodded slightly. "Of course," he said. "This energy requires emotional and mental alignment. To achieve this harmony, you must open yourselves completely and approach with pure intent. The substance detects your true intentions and thoughts." As Adley absorbed Thaler's words, he said, "This is a huge risk. If we can't control this substance, no one can predict what might happen." At that moment, a sudden explosion from a corner of the room startled everyone. The noise came from deep within the room, from dark corners. Thaler quickly moved towards the source of the sound. "This could be an external attack," Thaler said with concern. "The presence of this substance might have disturbed certain groups. We need to be cautious now." Adley turned to his crew. "Everyone be on alert," he said. "We need to maintain control and protect the substance." Draven, readying his energy weapon, said, "We need to find the attackers. Check around the room." He turned to Thaler. "Can you provide us with information on how to handle these types of attacks?" Thaler pointed to the defensive systems located around the room. "There are some protection systems in this room," he said. but they offer only temporary defense. Our task is to locate the source of the attack and, if necessary, reinforce the defense. The crew quickly moved to the areas Thaler indicated. Eloan began scanning the energy waves with her device, while Draven checked the defense systems. Adley chose to stay in the center of the room with Thaler, as they needed to come up with the best strategy to protect the substance. Adley, Thaler said, pausing for a moment. This substance is not only a physical threat. It can also affect our minds. The attackers might be trying to control us through our thoughts. Adley focused on Thaler's words and asked, "What should we do to protect our minds then?" Thaler replied, "Meditation and mental barriers might help. These techniques provide protection against mental attacks. But they are only temporary solutions. We need to find a long-term solution." Eloan pointed to an abnormal energy wave detected by her device. "I've found something," she said. "The energy waves are spreading from specific areas in the room. This might indicate that the attackers have entered the room covertly." Draven, carefully scanning the surroundings, said, "Then we need to check for hidden passages. These energy waves might indicate the presence of a secret passage." Adley, along with Thaler, began searching the corners of the room for hidden passages. They were careful not to miss any movement. Just then, a faint glow appeared on one of the walls. Adley approached the wall and noticed a panel. "We need to examine this panel," Adley said. "It could be the entrance to a hidden passage." Thaler carefully opened the panel. "This is an old mechanism," he said. "Such systems are often a blend of technological and natural elements. If we open this panel, we might be able to access the attacker's hidden passage." Draven, keeping his energy weapon ready, assisted in opening the panel. It opened with a soft sound, revealing a hidden passage inside the room. "Be ready," Adley said as they moved into the passage. "This passage might lead us to where the attackers are. We need to be cautious." As the crew stepped into the passage, they continued forward under Thaler's leadership. The hidden passage was dark and narrow, and they progressed deeper into the room with each step. At the end of the passage, a door appeared, secured by old technology with complex symbols on it. Eloan carefully examined the symbols and used her device to decode the door's lock. "This door uses a complex encryption system," Eloan said. "But we can solve it. We just need a little more time." Draven, keeping watch and defending the area, waited as Eloan worked on the door. As time passed, the door began to open slowly, and the light from the opening illuminated the dark passage. Behind the door, a space appeared with various alien figures and energy waves. This could be where the attackers were attempting to control the substance. Adley turned to his crew. "We don't know what we'll encounter here," he said, "but we must work together. Neutralizing the attackers and protecting the substance should be our primary objectives." Thaler nodded. "Scan this area carefully," he said. "Track the energy waves and identify the attackers. Together, we can overcome this threat." The crew, under Adley's leadership, stepped into the room beyond the door, facing various threats and obstacles. This was a battle not only for the future of the galaxy, but also for their own survival. Finally, they reached the depths of the hidden passage and realized that this perilous journey was just the beginning. Adley and his team continued to face tension and action-packed moments, navigating through the unknown. This chapter portrays Adley and his crew's encounter with dangers and mysteries, their struggles, and their strategies. It represents not only a physical battle, but also a conflict between minds and hearts. Each character must deal with both internal conflicts and external threats. Stepping through the door, Adley and the crew found themselves in a vast chamber. The walls of the room were covered in various energy waves and ancient alien symbols. In the center of the room was a platform surrounded by a delicate energy network. On the platform was a structure resembling the energy sphere they had encountered before, but larger and more complex. This structure emitted lights of different colors from all directions and seemed to hover in the air. "This must be a larger and more advanced version of the sphere," Eloan said, examining the structure with her device. "This energy construct might be the target of the attackers." Draven, scanning the surroundings carefully, added, If this energy structure controls this area, it could pose a significant threat. We need to be cautious. Thaler remarked, I believe this construct has the power to disrupt the galactic energy balance. This might be why the attackers are trying to control it. We need to neutralize this construct to protect the matter. Adley turned to Thaler and asked, So, what do we need to do to neutralize this construct? Thaler replied, the construct might be controlled through energy resonance. We need to find a solution to balance the energy flow and render it harmless. However, this could be quite a complex task. First, we need to understand the energy flow of this structure. Aloan started measuring the energy flow around the construct with her device. I'm trying to understand the energy flow, she said. There are areas of concentrated energy in certain regions of the construct. We can target these concentrations for intervention. At that moment, a subtle movement was detected from one of the dark corners of the room. Adley, glancing towards the corner, said, There's someone there. Stay alert. The attackers might still be around. Figures emerged from the corner, resembling aliens clad in dark clothing. These aliens wore dark armor and wielded weapons. Adley signaled to her team, Neutralize the attackers. Focus on the energy structure. The crew quickly sprang into action. Draven used his energy weapon to neutralize the aliens, while Aloan continued to analyze the regions around the energy structure. Thaler assisted Adley and Aloan in trying to balance the energy flow within the construct. We need to make adjustments in certain areas of the construct to balance the energy flow, Thaler said. This could stabilize the energy waves within the structure and reduce the threat. Aloan began carefully adjusting the energy waves around the structure. We need to be cautious during this process, she said. A misstep could lead to energy explosions. Suddenly, there was a sudden change in the energy flow within the construct. The structure shook with a powerful vibration, and the walls of the room began to tremble. Adley said, This energy shift might indicate that the attackers are intervening with the construct. Be careful, this could be dangerous. Draven added, The attackers are likely trying to disrupt the energy flow within the construct. We need to intervene meticulously. We must continue stabilizing the energy waves within the structure. As Aloan and Thaler continued to balance the energy flow in the structure, Draven and Adley fought against the attackers. The room was filled with the sounds of energy explosions and battle. The crew worked to neutralize the attackers and stabilize the energy structure, with intense energy waves swirling around. We've managed to control the energy within the construct, Aloan said after a while. But this is only a temporary solution. We need more time for the construct to be fully balanced. Adley turned to the crew and said, If we can't fully neutralize this construct, the galaxy might be facing a significant danger. But for now, we need to safely exit this area. Thaler said, We'll need more time to make the construct fully safe. For now, it's best if we leave this area. Otherwise, we might face energy explosions and new attacks from the attackers. After taking the necessary precautions to protect and stabilize the energy construct, the crew quickly exited the chamber. They made their way out of the hidden passage and reached a safe area. We're in a secure location now, Adley said, taking a deep breath. But this threat may be just the beginning of a larger problem. We need to continue uncovering the mysteries of this matter and energy structure. When the crew arrived at the heart of the energy structure, they found themselves in a vast and cold expanse illuminated by pale starlight. At the center of this structure stood a massive energy generator that threatened the balance of the galaxy. This was the final stage, and now their mission was to neutralize this colossal threat. The flow within this energy generator is extremely complex, Aloan said, peering anxiously at the monitors. We need to understand how the energy pathways work. Aloan used her devices to try to decipher the intricate systems of the energy structure. The energy flows displayed on the screens resembled a labyrinth. Aloan's eyes scanned every corner of this labyrinth, trying to figure out how to direct the energy. Draven and Adley encountered reinforced security systems around the energy structure. Massive metal doors and AI-assisted defense shields obstructed their progress. Draven examined the security systems and said, These defense systems are AI-assisted and quite advanced, scratching his head. We won't be able to neutralize the generator without taking control of these systems. Draven and Adley sprang into action to disable the security systems. They quickly worked on the computer screens, employing a special hacking strategy to bypass the enormous security barriers. Within seconds, they decoded the codes and managed to temporarily disable the defense systems. We've taken control of the systems, but this is just the beginning, Adley said, focused on the screens. As they approached the energy generator, Thaler said, "We need to balance the energy flow of the generator. We have to make the right adjustments here." The control panel surrounding the generator was filled with a complex array of settings. Thaler carefully examined the panel and did his best to configure the settings to control the energy flow. "If we succeed in balancing it, we can control the energy," he said. Eloan began entering codes into her computer to stabilize the energy. "If we don't enter these codes correctly, we could cause an explosion," she said. She made specific adjustments to slow and regulate the energy flow. "We need to ensure everything is safe during this process," she added, meticulously monitoring the data from her devices. With all preparations complete, the crew moved on to the most critical phase of the energy structure. Adley said, "We need to make one final move to shut down the energy generator." Everyone carefully followed Adley's commands. The shutdown process for the generator began. Eloan and Thaler managed to fully cut off the energy, rendering the generator that threatened the galaxy's balance ineffective. After shutting down the energy generator, the crew conducted a final check. "Everything is in order," Thaler said, taking a deep breath of relief. "We need to make sure the energy flow is completely cut off." Thaler confirmed that the energy was fully shut down and the generator had been safely neutralized. The crew achieved a great success by eliminating a major threat to the galaxy. However, other threats and challenges in the galaxy still remained. I hope you had a good time. If you like my story, do not forget to comment and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye. See you in the next story.